Liverpool fans, you won't believe this. A new Erling Haaland deal is done. Salah's future is under the spotlight, and Arne Slot faces a huge injury crisis versus Spurs. Subscribe now for daily Liverpool news, breaking transfers, and exclusive Anfield updates. Don't miss a thing. Liverpool have completed deal for new Erling Haaland. Liverpool overhauled their strike line last summer following their 2024-25 Premier League title win. Out went Darwin Núñez and Luis Diaz, replaced by Alexander Isak and Florian Wirtz at number 9 and number 7 respectively. But sporting director Richard Hughes also took the decision to beef up his attack with the surprise acquisition of Hugo Ekitike from Eintracht Frankfurt. Ekitike, 23, cost an initial £69 million, with eyebrows being raised over the move, considering that a deal for Isak was still very much in the works. But the France international has made a mockery of those predictions that he would be playing second fiddle to Isak, who cost nearly double at £125 million from Newcastle. Ekitike already eclipsing Isak. The striker began the season in sensational form, netting in his first 3 Liverpool matches and carrying the fight up front while Isak worked on his fitness. A harsh demotion followed, with Ekitike also struggling for goals, but he has come roaring back in the last few fixtures. Ekitike has scored 4 goals in his last 2 Premier League matches against Leeds and Brighton, and his overall tally now stands at 10 in only 23 games. That is a very good strike rate for a forward new to the English game, and Ekitike stands a real chance of ending Mohamed Salah's streak as Liverpool's top scorer in every season he's been at the club. Indeed, research conducted by The Athletic now shows that Ekitike is second only to Manchester City superstar Erling Haaland in non-penalty goals per 90 minutes in the Premier League this season. Only Haaland better than Ekitike. The Norwegian has just gone past a century of top-flight goals for City since joining in 2022, netting 102 in only 113 outings. Ekitike has showcased a ruthless streak, with his 7 league goals coming from an XG, or expected goals figure, of 4.4 and a shot conversion rate of 23%, the analysis reads. Among top-flight players who have clocked up at least 500 minutes of game time this season, only Erling Haaland of Manchester City boasts a better rate of non-penalty goals per 90 minutes than his .72. Ekitike has easily surpassed the achievements of striking rival Isak so far in the duo's time at the club, and it's fair to say he's been Hughes' best acquisition of a record-breaking summer. Ekitike makes things happen. The numbers back these claims up, with The Athletic stating that Ekitike's lively style is helping Liverpool through a difficult season. The Frenchman has so many facets to his game, the report continues. Only Chelsea's João Pedro has averaged more take-ons than his 3.5 per 90 minutes among top-flight center forwards this season, and only Haaland and Nottingham Forest's Igor Jesus average more shots per 90 minutes than his 3.1. Put simply, the guy makes things happen. Liverpool have secured Ekitike to a 6-year contract, and in time, the £69 million should come to feel like a bargain. The Reds were adamant about doing a deal ahead of Newcastle last summer, and their persistent approach has certainly paid off for a striker touching on Haaland-like levels.
Liverpool could be without 7 players versus Tottenham, as Arne Slot dealt double injury blow. Liverpool are set to be without a number of players when they take on Tottenham Hotspur on Saturday. Liverpool could be left without as many as 7 senior players when they travel to Tottenham Hotspur on Saturday. Arne Slot bemoaned only having 13 available outfield players ahead of the Reds' clash with Brighton and Hove Albion last weekend, and while a Hugo Ekitike brace was enough to see Slot's side run out 2-0 winners, the victory came at a price, as the Dutchman also saw his options depleted further. Joe Gomez was forced off midway through the first half with a hamstring injury, while Dominic Szoboszlai limped off late on after injuring his ankle. And while Mohamed Salah came on to replace the former, Liverpool will now be without the Egyptian too after he departed for Africa Cup of Nations duty. Slot was only able to name an 8-man bench rather than the maximum permitted 9 against the Seagulls, and even then his reserve options included 2 players who were yet to feature in the Premier League in Welity Lucky and Calvin Ramsey. Liverpool will at least be able to welcome Connor Bradley back for the trip to North London in the Reds' final outing before Christmas, after he missed the win over Brighton through suspension. But Slot will likely have to turn the club's academy again to fill his matchday squad due to his side's ongoing injury woes. He has already confirmed that he expects Gomez to miss the trip to Tottenham, while Szoboszlai is also a doubt. Meanwhile, it remains to be seen if Jeremy Frimpong will be available as he closes in on a return, having been sidelined with a hamstring injury since the end of October. If I have a player who goes off with a muscle injury like Gomez, that's normally not a positive thing, Slot told the club after beating Brighton. I would not expect him to be in the squad next week at Tottenham Hotspur, but sometimes you get a positive surprise. People now maybe understand a bit better why I was always so cautious not to play him so many games. I assume many people thought, if you have a defender, if you have a right fullback, why don't you play him? And Szoboszlai, it was his ankle. It didn't look great when I just saw him, but he has unbelievable mentality, so let's hope for the best. The good thing is that Connor Bradley comes back from a suspension, and normally Jeremy Frimpong will train with us also. But we're also going to miss Mo because he's going to go to the Africa Cup of Nations duty. Slot were already without Cody Gakpo and Wataru Endo after Slot confirmed last week they are both set to be sidelined for a number of weeks with muscle and ankle injuries respectively. Elsewhere, Giovanni Leone remains a long-term absentee after being ruled out for the season after undergoing surgery on an ACL injury suffered during his debut for the club back in September. Meanwhile, it is unclear why Trey Nyani was not included in the matchday squad to face Brighton, while the likes of youngsters Stefan Bajcetic, Jayden Dance, both hamstring, and Kyle Gordon, meniscus, are also still sidelined because of injury.
Liverpool great issues sour note warning to Mohamed Salah as transfer decision beckons. Amid transfer interest from Saudi Arabia, some fear Salah has played his final Liverpool game. One ex-forward is adamant he must return after the Africa Cup of Nations. Former Liverpool attacker John Aldridge has said that Mohamed Salah owes it to himself to return from the Africa Cup of Nations and help the Reds push on in the second half of the season. Both Liverpool and Salah have struggled to replicate the highs of last term, with the team languishing in 7th, while the star player has managed just 2 Premier League goals from open play in the last 4 months. The disgruntled Egyptian expressed his frustrations about a lack of playtime in that bombshell interview after the recent draw at Leeds United, before returning to the team for the weekend win over Brighton and Hove Albion. Salah, who departed for the Africa Cup of Nations this week, undertook a lap of honor after Saturday's game, which some have speculated was a farewell to Anfield. He's certainly not short of interest from Saudi Arabia anyway. But Aldridge, who can relate to leaving Liverpool for a move abroad, said Salah should return from the tournament in Morocco and ensure his legacy at the club doesn't end on a sour note. Mo looked hungry when he came on as well in that 2-0 win over Brighton, the ex-Republic of Ireland striker wrote in his Liverpool Echo column. He got an assist for Hugo Ekitike, could have had another one on a plate for Alexis McAllister, and put it over the bar from a great ball by Federico Chiesa late on. It was the sort of busy afternoon from Salah that we haven't seen too often, and I'd ask why did it take for that interview at Leeds to seemingly spark it all into life? Where has that determination been in recent weeks? To only spring into action after the furor at Elland Road is not right. It's not been a vintage season from Salah, and he is on course to score his lowest ever tally in a season at Liverpool, in what is his 9th campaign now, should he complete it, of course. At times, Mo has almost disappeared in games. But Saturday was much more like the old Mo we know and love, and the last thing he will have wanted will have been to have left for the AFCON and possibly for good with a whimper.
Salah has been one of the greatest this football club has ever seen, and whatever happens now will happen. But for me, he owes it to himself to come back to Anfield after AFCON with Egypt and make sure he helps with the push in the second half of the season. The send-off he got on Saturday after the game was nice to see from the fans, who don't want to pick sides in this one, but generally, if his Anfield career does end now, it will be such a sour note to say goodbye on. If he leaves, then at least he left with the fans singing for him, but that just can't be it where Mo Salah's association with Liverpool FC goes, surely.
Richard Hughes plots masterstroke Liverpool signing of Serie A star as Wirtz tipped for big money exit. Liverpool sporting director Richard Hughes is being tipped to rectify a mistake he made in the summer transfer window by bolstering Arne Slot's midfield engine room in the January window, with an Italy international reportedly on the club's radar. The Reds have been second best when it comes to the midfield battle in a number of games this term, as their disastrous Premier League title defense continues. Indeed, the Reds are currently 10 points behind leaders Arsenal with 16 games played. Despite spending record amounts on the likes of Alexander Isak and Florian Wirtz over the summer, Hughes did not see the need to add another midfielder. However, reports from Spain suggest that area of the Liverpool squad could be on the brink of a major boost. Liverpool target box-to-box interstar. Ryan Gravenberch and Alexis McAllister felt the strain during the second half of the title-winning season due to Liverpool's lack of quality strength and depth in midfield, while an ankle injury suffered by Dominic Szoboszlai at the weekend could end up being a significant blow to the Reds, depending on the severity of the issue. To that end, Spanish outlet Fichajes claims Liverpool are among 4 Premier League clubs interested in recruiting Inter Milan star Davide Fratesi. The 26-year-old is a box-to-box midfielder capable of contributing at both ends, but has struggled for starts under Christian Chivu. Indeed, the Italy international, who is under contract under 2028, has only started one Serie A game this season, in what is viewed in Italy as a real waste of his talent. The report states, Davide Fratesi's name has emerged strongly in the European transfer market. Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Tottenham are all closely monitoring the Inter Milan midfielder, convinced that his current situation presents a strategic opportunity. Liverpool are also considering signing him, aware of the heavy workload placed on McAllister, Szoboszlai, and Gravenberch. Fratesi would provide depth, intensity, and a highly valued tactical alternative at Anfield. The 33-cap Italy international joined Inter initially on loan from Sassuolo back in 2023, going on to win the Serie A title and ended up as a Champions League runner-up last season. To that end, Spanish outlet Fichajes claims Liverpool are among 4 Premier League clubs interested in recruiting Inter Milan star Davide Fratesi. The 26-year-old is a box-to-box midfielder capable of contributing at both ends, but has struggled for starts under Christian Chivu. Indeed, the Italy international, who is under contract under 2028, has only started one Serie A game this season, in what is viewed in Italy as a real waste of his talent. The report states, Davide Fratesi's name has emerged strongly in the European transfer market. Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Tottenham are all closely monitoring the Inter Milan midfielder, convinced that his current situation presents a strategic opportunity. Liverpool are also considering signing him, aware of the heavy workload placed on McAllister, Szoboszlai, and Gravenberch. Fratesi would provide depth, intensity, and a highly valued tactical alternative at Anfield. The 33-cap Italy international joined Inter initially on loan from Sassuolo back in 2023, going on to win the Serie A title and ended up as a Champions League runner-up last season. Words to Real Madrid rumor refusing to go away. Spanish reports are once again stating that Real Madrid are ready to break the bank to bring struggling Liverpool playmaker Florian Wirtz to the Bernabeu in 2026. Under pressure, Real Madrid chief Xabi Alonso worked with the German international during their time together at Bayer Leverkusen, and Spanish outlet Defensa Central claims Wirtz could soon join another former Red Star, Trent Alexander-Arnold, in Madrid. The Real Madrid-centric news outlet, which it has to be said is not always the most reliable, states that Liverpool are ready to sell Florian Wirtz to Real Madrid for €110 million, £96.4 million, $129.5 million. Defensa also notes that Alonso wanted Madrid to sign Wirtz in the summer of 2025 when he became manager of the Spanish Giants. While it's evident that Wirtz has so far struggled to make an impact at Anfield, our sources indicate that the Premier League club have full faith in the 22-year-old talent. No goals and just 5 assists in 21 appearances for the Reds so far this season are not exactly what Liverpool paid for, but that does not mean they are already looking for an exit route for the attacker.
Liverpool fully intend. David Ornstein shares update on Mo Salah's Anfield future as he shares club's view. Liverpool forward Mo Salah will be absent for the next 4 to 6 weeks as he competes at AFCON with Egypt. Liverpool forward Mo Salah might have played his last game for the club, but that is highly unlikely, according to reliable reporter David Ornstein. The Athletic journalist recently appeared on NBC Sports to discuss the biggest stories across the footballing world, and he was asked about Salah's situation at Anfield. Salah returned to the pitch last weekend, a week after his bombshell interview in the wake of the 3-3 draw with Leeds United. The Egyptian international has not started in the last 5 games for Liverpool, and after his 3rd straight game without starting, he spoke to the media at Elland Road, claiming the club had thrown him under the bus and that he no longer had a relationship with manager Arne Slot. He was left behind as Liverpool traveled to play Inter Milan at the San Siro last week, but was back in the squad as Slot's side won 2-0 at home to Brighton and Hove Albion. Salah came off the bench and bagged an assist. The winger has now left the Reds to join up with Egypt for their African Cup of Nations campaign. His comments after the draw with Leeds have thrown his long-term future into doubt as he has been linked with clubs in Saudi Arabia, while MLS outfit San Diego FC have also been credited with an interest. Ornstein has revealed that Liverpool's intention is keep Salah at the club, and that the view from Anfield is that speculation around the star's future has been brought about by the Egyptian's interview and his desire to play regularly. We talked about cryptic messages with Chelsea and Maresca. You could compare that to Salah and Liverpool, because we don't have a full explanation on what has gone on there, Ornstein said. But as I understand it, Liverpool fully intend to keep Mo Salah. They want him to remain not only in the January transfer window, but beyond, until at least the end of the season. He's under contract until the summer of 2027, and Liverpool feel that they showed their intentions very clearly by renewing him at great expense back in May. I think their view would be this has been brought about by Salah and his desire to be guaranteed regular football, and that's not something that any club, certainly not Liverpool, despite the legendary status of Salah, are going to be willing to deliver. And that seems to be at the heart of this, at the center of discussions which Arne Slot said began before Leeds.